Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Alright, I thought, you know what? You guys can do all this clicking with me today. Alright, to start my stream, first I have to go to the stream and like it. Always like it. You have to like it. Alright, I can close my stream now. I don't need to see it anymore. Now I have to copy my stream link, go into Discord, because no one will know that I'm going live unless I tell everybody. I don't like this part. Send now. I'm sure 600 people now. Then I usually copy my stream key and put it in, but I already did that so that you guys could do this with me. Then I have to get YouTube ready. Pop out chat. I have to make sure it's Court Vibes and not some other channel, because YouTube does like to screw with me a little bit. Copy that. Hi Josh. Then I have to make sure, hold on, YouTube chat's good. Now I have to make sure that Twitch chat is running. I just sort of scroll over it. If I see it, it's good. It's good. It's not a high priority on OJ streams, my Twitch chat. Now I have to find OJ. Luckily, I already have the video ready. We don't have to scroll and find what video we're at. Which also means I don't think I take my daughter to work today. But we have to make sure the loopy thing's on. We have to make sure we're at 1.25. This is when I usually press start live stream. That's why it takes me 30 minutes. Alright. And here we go.
Published in there, I think the appendix back of the book give more or less specific time.
Well,
I forgot I have to
If you give
resize
me a
it.
book, I can show you where it is.
let me, yes, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Only if you're punching
Your
in the
understanding
nose.
That they
You may.
that they concluded that the single drop of blood on cotton cloth would take from 55 to 330 minutes, depending on the circumstances.
Thank
when
you.
they change circumstances around.
Right, that's the, if you look at the condition 3, that's a total different
Yeah,
condition.
right. And the purpose of this was to try to educate forensic scientists how difficult it is to ever predict how long it's going to take something to dry. Is that true?
In the crime scene, again, it's difficult to predict. In a laboratory setting, it should be controllable condition. We should know take how long a swatch can dry.
Okay, wasn't the purpose of their exercise to educate the forensic science student in how difficult it is, even in a laboratory setting, with a single drop of blood on a cotton, to predict how long it's going to take to dry? Wasn't that what they
I
were
don't
asking?
think that's, you can call them on stand. I don't think they're going to say a single drop of blood stain on the cotton cloth going to be unpredictable.
Well, what I'm asking you, doctor, is what the intent was of this material. And wasn't the intent to get across to the forensic science student, be careful, because it's hard to figure out how long something's going to take to dry, even in a laboratory?
Yes, certain condition, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, let's move on to the socks, doctor.
Yes.
On the socks, there was a sock that you were asked about that we've numbered 13A. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And would you agree, sir, that it's difficult, if not impossible, to reconstruct all of the various ways that different parts of a sock could come into contact with each other when you're taking it off?
Yes, sir.
And there's a stain on the sock that has been labeled 42A.
Yes.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Ankle stain.
And are you generally aware that that has been identified as having blood that was consistent with Nicole Brown?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's another stain that we've been referring to in the testimony that's on the inside, what we've been referring to as wall 3. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Now, doctor, is it your position that we cannot say with positiveness whether stain 42 is in fact related to the stain on wall 3.
That's correct.
Now, could the quantity of blood on stain 42A, be as much as a milliliter?
That's such a great question that I gotta pause it for that one, because that's a great question. Oof, guys, we're so close. I'm gonna show you just how close we are, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Oh, come on. All right. If you look at the highlighted one, that's where we are right now. All right. We are on video 124. Holy crap. And he's still here. Now we're only 16 minutes into this one, and it's 2 hours long. So, and then we have another 2-hour stream. That'll be tomorrow. And then we have part 4 of August 28th. It's only a 1-hour stream. And I think with us going 1.25, we should get pretty far into that the day after tomorrow. And then boom, we're at August 29th. And I think it starts immediately at part 1. I have up until here. Oh no, here. Already recorded and scrubbed. And really, there's not as many as I thought there would be. There's not as many offensive words. Just one word in particular that I thought there would be. However, this is just them asking the courts if they can play it. So they're just playing snippets to the court without the jury to see if they're allowed to play it. So it keeps going the whole way for a while. The whole Furman part. I don't know how far. I know it's past there, though. We might be through it with this witness. Maybe. I hope. God. I can't just... I just won't have time to check every single video for the rest of this series to see if there's a Furman in there. That being said, hi Christy, hi Carlos. That being said, there's a higher than average chance that I'm going to miss an N-word. I'm a human being, and this is a lot of content to scrub. So I'm trying my best. I'm downloading the transcripts. I'm finding all of the N-words exactly where they are. I'm scrubbing them. I'm watching the entire video, which is where I drift off sometimes. But usually that word snaps me right back into, out of whatever I'm doing. So, I might miss some, just so you know. So there might be very offensive words in the upcoming content. I didn't say them. I didn't do it. Yes, Josh, you are adults, and I mean, the whole world heard it. Let's refocus him.
Leader?
42.
I just would rather it not happen on my channel, though. You know what I mean?
A, you mean surface 1 or surface?
Surface 1.
Surface 1. Again, the calculation of the volume of the blood is a difficult chore, and I probably the only one wrote a paper in that. However, I entitled a paper called Estimation of the Volume of the Blood stain. I choose the word estimation, not determination. As a scientist, I cannot come here to determine that's 1 cc of blood.
Okay.
There are so many ways to calculate, so many ways to try to come up some reasonable explanation. Unfortunately, although this
What
sucks,
did you just say?
probably
Was
I would
that
say
an
the
offensive
most
word?
exempt socks in the world. So many people look at these socks. But a big hole being sampled. Now I look at the remainder thing, try to go back, say what's the volume? I did not look at the center portion. I cannot come here, in fairness, tell you how much blood in there.
Okay. And this is another one of those examples of something where a leading forensic scientist or a number of leading forensic scientists can look at an item and they just can't provide us with all of the answers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that doesn't mean something's wrong, does it?
It does mean something wrong. If at the beginning, first day, I have an opportunity to look at the socks, I can give you a very, really close estimation. But since a big hole there, I cannot recreate a hole.
Well, weren't there photographs, though, of the socks before the hole was cut out?
I was not privileged to have a
Photographs.
photograph shows the blood stain intact.
Okay. But the point is that even with all those things, sometimes we can't do anything more than give a rough estimation. Is that
Yes, sir,
correct?
that's correct.
And that doesn't mean something's wrong, does it?
No.
All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the mechanism of transfer. You've explained what a compression transfer is. Can you just give us a very, very brief additional explanation of that, sir?
The liquid blood, either on an object or already on surface, have certain pressure applied to it. I cannot come here again tell you how big the pressure, certain pressure. This liquid being transferred onto the surface, that's called compression stain.
And can you give us a brief explanation as to what a swipe is?
A swipe, you start generally when first moment contact, that probably can be a compression. Then with a lateral movement, you either the surface, receiving surface move,
Christy,
or the
thank
applying
you so
surface
much. Thank you.
and could be both surface moved. That's called a swipe.
And those are two separate things. Is that correct, doctor?
There are two separate definitions.
And to a forensic scientist such as yourself that has some expertise in the area of blood splatter, that's an
Me too,
important distinction,
Denisha.
isn't it, between swipe and compression?
It's important, but sometimes, again, have a gray area. You can't really tell too clearly. That's a compression or a swipe. Sometimes it's a combination.
But if you can make a distinction, that is an important one for a forensic scientist,
Yes.
correct? And if Mr. McDonald testified that that distinction was not important, would you agree with it?
I don't know exactly he referred to. If he referred a special situation, that's nothing wrong. If say every case, you shouldn't distinguish a compression and swipe, then it's wrong. Certain situation, a compression and swipe may be a combination. That's, again, each individual have their own opinion. And I'm not going to argue with everybody entitled, all the experts entitled their opinion. Certain scientific fact should not be argued about it. As far the opinion, they're entitled to give their
Okay,
opinion.
well, I don't want to ask you to criticize someone else, but would it be fair to say that with respect to that part of Mr. McDonald's testimony, you take a little bit of a different view?
Again, as I indicate, if on the particular item, maybe no differences, if in overall picture, a crime scene, a swipe, a compression, maybe make a difference.
Well, you heard that part of the testimony, didn't you?
I did not pay much attention on everything.
No, that particular part that I'm talking about where we got into the distinction between swipe and compression?
I don't recall. Some people may discuss with me. However, I did not really firsthand heard from Herb McDonald.
You weren't in the courtroom?
I wasn't in the courtroom.
Right.
I wasn't.
Okay,
No, I don't think I was in the courtroom.
all right. Now, Dr. Lee, with respect to the socks, getting back to the socks, is the stain 42A that we've been
Thank
talking
you,
about
Nam.
Yes, sir.
Hi,
consistent
Bill.
with the person
Guys,
at the crime scene touching the socks?
it's Bill. Hi, Bill.
You just look at the surface one, or you look at the whole socks.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's take surface one so far.
Surface one, in order to have that, that's my interpretation now, okay? In order to have somebody touch somebody else's socks, the pants and the shoes have to have a separation to expose the surface. The best example I can give it to you, have to wear the pants like Michael Jackson, obviously. And certain portion of socks have to expose. If I wear my pants and the socks like that, if have to touch my pants, not going to be the socks. So that's one condition. The second condition, the blood has to be liquid, not coagulate, not dry, has to be in liquid state. Third thing, has to have certain pressure. I cannot tell you how much pressure, not just a gentle touch.
Okay, well, having said all that, if the pants are pulled up,
Yes, sir.
or if someone's kneeling over, however it happens, the sock is exposed, and someone didn't grab the socks, but touched the sock, could that be with a bloody finger, wet bloody finger?
Has to be single finger.
Single finger?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and could it also be a result, this transfer of, or consistent with, someone wearing that sock and the sock coming up against a bloody object?
Has to have a pressure in that one location because we look at not just one location and very defined parameter.
Okay, so the answer is yes?
Has to be certain condition to cause that transfer.
Well, yeah, if someone comes into contact with some pressure with some object that has wet blood on it, you can get that transfer.
Right.
All right, Mr. Goldberg, would this be a good spot?
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our mid-morning break. Please remember all my admonitions to you. We'll stand in recess for 15. Dr. Lee, you can step down. All parties are again present. Jury is not present. All right, Deputy Magnero, let's have the jurors, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Scheck.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on, Deputy Magnero.
My apologies for making a statement to the court in the presence of the jury about these exhibits. I just want to be clear on the rules. If the witness is going to be questioned about a section of a learned treatise, it has to be established, as I understood, that he relied upon it, and I thought as well the counsel would be given an opportunity. I just want to make it clear to the court that we had some discussion about what would be used with Dr. Lee, and I was handed this paper seconds before the question was asked, and that's the only reason I wanted time to see exactly what was being asked of the witness.
You were given, see, let me tell you what my perspective is, Mr. Scheck, so we understand each other. I did not hear the foundational questions to Dr. Lee that he was about to be cross-examined as to somebody else's opinion in a learned treatise. I didn't hear the questions. I didn't hear anything read from an article, so I assumed that your objections were premature. And that's the way I felt at that time, and I think that the way the testimony unfolded, that's what came out, because he was not cross-examined or impeached as to anything in a learned treatise that he didn't rely upon or agree with.
Well, if
I have much more confidence in this witness than apparently the lawyers do.
no, nobody can. I yield to no one in my confidence in this witness. But the point is simply a procedural one, because
I understand.
I don't want to be in the position of where I say something in front of the jury that.
But you understand the context
and you
of
and
my
I get
comment.
into a dialogue. If,
This witness is not going to argue with either side about other scientists' opinions.
Oh my
Your
God,
Honor,
Bill is
the
here.
point I want to make, just
Hi,
for
Bill.
the
Yes,
when
you're
did
good
you
to
get
see it,
here?
and if he's about to be cross-examined, you have the opportunity
Right.
to read to see what it is.
And he did, and I just so I'm clear on the practice, what happened was he was asked about Labor and Epstein generally. He said, excellent people. Then Mr. Goldberg read something from his notes, which in fact, it was my understanding, was either a direct quote or a summary of this. And
But
I
it was
thought at that point,
such an innocuous question that aren't there variables that have to do with how long it takes something to dry? That's a question that doesn't have to come out of a learned treatise, and it was obviously the focus of where Mr. Goldberg was going. It was not directly from this article. I agree with you. You've got the materials. If he's going to use specific passages to cross-examine, you're entitled to see it before we go into it.
well, just for the record, and I'll make a copy of this for you, what then unfolded is that specific tables were used with different conditions for drying cloth swatches with 1 drop of blood.
But the
under different
objection should have
temperatures.
been then foundation.
Well, I thought I was trying to make them, but
Well,
I
no,
also, now that this
Mr.
has come
Scheck, that
out-
was a speaking objection. If you had said foundation,
well,
you probably would have been sustained.
Your Honor, I will get to it. I just don't want to have any misunderstandings between us.
We have none.
Okay, and I will make an application when this is done. I want you to take a look at it because I think it opens the door to some other things that had
It may,
previously been
it may
excluded.
very well, might. That thought crossed my mind when I heard it.
I just say, Your Honor, I didn't ask about any experiments. He asked me about the generalized knowledge that he has, which is what he testified to on direct. He was testifying from his generalized knowledge
I
about
understand,
blood
but then,
drawing.
but then you went into this chart where somebody else did an experiment about drying times.
Well, because he was the one that told me about it. I wasn't going to get into that except Dr. Lee wanted to.
Just because they go into it doesn't mean you should cross-examine on it. I thought he left you with a pretty wide parameter that if you set it out to dry at night and you come back the next morning, it ought to be dry. I think that left you a wide enough parameter to work with. but you
Oh,
insisted
so
on making it
this is
tighter.
what happened with the trial. The drying
So, I don't
times
know.
of swatches
But I'll
is what
see
really
the
did
article
it.
says and probably get to read the article over the lunch hour. Not
We
that I
don't
have
need
other
to
things
see
occupy
Furman
my
tapes
time.
now. We already know. You can't really see
If the
Furman
defense
tapes, by the way. It's
insists on pursuing
audio.
this particular line. But you got the transfers. I mean, what more do you want? All right, the record should reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Dr. Henry Lee is still on the witness stand undergoing cross-examination by Mr. Goldberg. And Mr. Goldberg, you may continue.
Now, Dr. Lee, you distinguished in your testimony between the manner of transfer as opposed to the mode of transfer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the mode of transfer would be the exact mechanism. In other words, was it a hand? Was it a gloved hand? Was it a object? What is it exactly that caused that blood transfer? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, with respect to that issue, the mode of transfer, were you able to render any opinion regarding the mode of transfer onto the socks?
There are numerous possibilities. I cannot tell you which one is definitively one method.
So would it be fair to say that on that, this is an area where you were unable to render an opinion on that question, mode of transfer?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were asked a little bit about trace analysis on direct examination, and you said that it fell in the area of hair examination, somewhere in between class characteristics and individualization. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you explain this, do you agree with this following statement? While it is difficult to make absolute individualizations in these areas, the trace analyst can make identifications with a high degree of certainty and can often establish partial individuality of a specimen with confidence based on experience and analytical results.
I would say 80 to 90% that statement correct. They forgot one thing, depends on samples. Not all the sample you can reach that degree of certainty. Some of the sample, yes, you can. Other sample, maybe only can do a class characteristic identification.
Sir, have you ever publicly stated the comment that I just made in any public forum, whether it's published or oral?
Maybe in certain contexts. I try to tell the investigator how important trace evidence is in solving crime or dissociate a person from a crime. Trace evidence have particular value. Don't overlook trace evidence. Although trace evidence we cannot approach positive identification. Now, two extreme. One called individualization, one called identification. A lot of physical evidence fall in between. Different degree. Fingerprint, that's a positive identification. Here, we cannot reach to that. Say, just from this person, no other person.
Well, let me ask you this, Doctor. Maybe I can just approach counsel for a moment. Let me just ask you this, Dr. Lee.
Yes.
With respect to trace analysis. Would it be your position that in some cases regarding hair comparisons, that identifications can be made with a high degree of certainty and can often establish partial individuality of the specimen with confidence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there were certain items that you looked at where you packaged some hair and trace evidence in bindles in this case. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And one was the envelope, and one was Ron Goldman's boots, and the other one was the soil sample. Is that correct?
No.
That you-
Actually, 21 bindles.
Well, that you testified to on direct examination.
Testifying direct, yes, only 3. But in reality, when I examined, I found 21 separate bindles of trace evidence.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I was asking about the testimony. Now, with respect to these 3 items, Dr. Lee, did you do any comparisons yourself on any of the hair and trace evidence in those bindles?
No, I did not.
Okay. And is there any forensic significance to finding the materials that you found in those 3 items?
Unless it's examined, maybe some significance.
Well, sir, is it common to find stray hair and trace materials when you're analyzing a particular piece of evidence for hair and trace?
Yes.
And is there anything unusual about that?
Just shows the presence of trace. And of course, what type of trace becomes significant? Whether or not can link a person or dissociate a person now becomes significant. If you find trace, that's uncommon. We can find, if you give me time, I go to jury box, I can probably find hundreds of hairs, all different fibers.
Okay, and we might be able to find some hairs and fibers. We would be able to find some hairs and fibers in the jury box that don't belong to any of the jurors in this case.
If you give me time, I will find a lot of hairs and fibers, maybe nothing to do with the jury panel.
Even though this jury panel has been sitting in this jury box for quite some time.
Sure. Maybe I can find your hair there too.
Okay. So there wouldn't be anything unusual about being able to find hairs and fibers at a crime scene that don't belong to the suspects and the victim, is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you were asked a little bit about the generalities of crime scene identification, and the defense used a chart. It was Defense 1350, if we could just take a look at that. Now, sir, this chart was intended in order to represent the basic steps in terms of categories of a forensic examination from crime scene forward. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I just want to make sure that I'm understanding exactly how to interpret the chart correctly. Let's say that we have a situation, doctor, where the biological evidence at a crime scene, let's say it's blood, is stepped in by a defendant and is deposited on the sole of his shoes. And then he takes it to some other location.
The form of this hypothetical. Hold on.
Now, in that hypothetical scenario that I've given you, has the collection, in effect, been done by the suspect himself instead of by a police officer?
The collection actually involves two falls. You start with a recognition. If, say, an individual step in the blood, walk on a surface, you deposit some evidence on that walkway surface. That it's not by defendant himself. The detective or the criminalist at the scene have to see it, to recognize it, try to enhance it, then collect it. If you forget about that, you create a big problem for future reconstruction. The second half, you are correct. The shoe itself become a valuable piece of evidence. Unless you find the shoe, you can't really do a side-by-side comparison.
Okay. And in that kind of a hypothetical situation where you had found a shoe like that, say, you would still be able to test that shoe for conventional testing and for DNA testing, is that correct?
Yeah, the shoe, again, the testing involved quite a bit now. Not only serological analysis, you have to, the most valuable is the pattern comparison. Side by side, the shoe and the footprint, you have to compare, not only look at general characteristic, also look at the wear, cut, pattern, so-called individual characteristics. Grouping, just one part of it, whether or not you can link to certain source of a blood. Just like
yummy?
hair,
Is it
soil,
delicious,
whether or not
man?
you can link to back to the scene. So the whole process is involving recognition, preservation, documentation, collection, everything.
Okay. And you would agree that well, let me ask another question. Let's change the hypothetical
Yes,
a little
sir.
bit. And let's say that instead of a suspect at the crime scene, we have a brand new police officer at his first crime scene. And he accidentally steps in some blood.
Yes.
And he's a little panicked and he's nervous about doing that, obviously. But he immediately takes his shoe off, Dr. Lee.
Okay.
And he brings it to you.
Yes.
You would still be able to analyze the blood on that shoe, wouldn't you?
Your Honor, I haven't heard, no foundation.
If the shoe bring to me, yes, I will be able to identify whether or not that's blood. If it's in fact blood, human blood or not. If it's human blood, of course, just like you indicate traditional serological grouping, type A, type B, type O, DNA typing, try to see whose blood. Equally important, I have to look at the scene, whether or not I have same type of a shoe print.
Okay. So there's a variety of testing that you could do, even in the hypothetical that I gave you.
And all start with recognition.
Yeah. And
you have to see it first.
okay. And in my particular hypothetical, though, Doctor, the police officer obviously didn't recognize the blood at the time that he stepped in it, right?
Yes.
And he didn't accurately document it or photograph it, is that correct?
Yes.
And you,
Object to this on foundational grounds and 352 grounds.
and would you agree, Doctor, that a police officer dabbing his foot in blood is, and then using his shoe for analysis wouldn't be the recommended collection technique?
I'm lost.
Okay, well, you go out and lecture police officers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say a police officer raises his hand. He's in the audience. Dr. Lee, if I don't have any swatches or I don't have any bindles to scrape off the blood, can I just dab my foot in it and submit my shoe for analysis?
Assumes facts, not an evidence, no foundation.
Would you tell the officer, well, I don't recommend that?
I probably tell, don't dab, just give me your shoes, and don't do it next time.
Okay. All right. So even though we have a big mistake in terms of recognition, in terms of preservation, documentation, collection, identification, we can still do comparison. We can still do individualization. Is that correct?
You're going to be on shaky ground, because unless we recognize everything, we can do partial reconstruction.
We probably
Partial.
can't do reconstruction.
Cannot do a complete reconstruction.
If I may for a second. So in my hypothetical, we're probably going, we botched recognition.
You're locking out number
We
7.
botched recognition.
Yes.
We botched preservation, documentation, collection in the hypothetical.
Right.
Identification, we nailed.
Yes.
Right. Comparison, we nailed.
Yes.
Correct. Individualization depends on how many probes.
Right.
Okay. Reconstruction, probably not.
Yes, that's correct.
So, Doctor, if we wanted to change the title of the chart from Steps in Forensic Examination to Garbage in, Garbage out, that would be incorrect from a scientific standpoint, wouldn't it?
No, you cannot change my title.
Thank you. Good.
But garbage in, garbage out, that's a common thing I use in lecture. You collect a lot of garbage from the crime scene. Laboratory scientist, my report going to like a garbage. You really don't know where they come from, what's going to happen, just say like a garbage report. You have to do a so-called totality team approach. Everybody have to work together,
Right.
do the best job. Yes.
All right. But even in cases such as the one that I related where that's not done, sometimes, I won't say that you can save the case, but you can still get some meaningful test
Yes, sir.
results, very meaningful
That's
evidence.
correct.
All right. Now, if we changed our hypothetical again, Dr. Lee, so that the police officer photographed the blood stain properly before he stepped in it, then we might even be able to do some reconstruction as well. Is that true? Limited.
Limited.
Will again object to, unless there's facts and evidence, I think these hypotheticals and the changes have no foundation.
And, Doctor, when I was questioning you a little while ago, you were talking, I think that you said something to the effect that you wouldn't recommend someone using their hands to touch the swatches to see whether they were dry.
Yes.
But if we had someone who did that, and let's say our same police officer, a new police officer, he's new, oh my heavens, not only did I do all those other things, I also touched the swatches with my hands.
Foundation, it's facts, not an evidence. Swatches?
Dr. Lee, would your procedure there be that you would take a blood sample from the police officer, correct?
Yes.
And you would test his, depending on what testing you were doing, you might do conventional serology, you might do PCR and RFLP, correct?
Yes.
And you would still then test the evidence, is that true?
Yes, I will test the evidence with the control. If somebody touch it, the body cell may contaminate to the evidence. That's one possibility. Second, only for the protection of the individual may have a cut, some hepatitis or AIDS or other virus may infect the individual. So touching not only is a contamination, also protection. If have some body material transferred to that sample. Now you're going to have a contaminated sample. We have to have a known control, compare, try to resolve, see what we can do.
And although things like that aren't supposed to happen, every once in a while there are cases where something like that does occur.
Yes.
All right. Now, you were asked about the socks being packaged together in an envelope. And I just wanted to clarify your testimony on this topic. Is the packaging, let's say that you have two socks at a crime scene and you collect them together and you put them in the same bag
Yes.
together. Is it your position that there could be a transfer from one sock to another sock?
It could be.
And that transfer could be hair and trace?
Also, could be biological material.
If the socks are wet at the time they're
If
collected?
the socks are wet, if have some body tissues or body material can cause a transfer.
Are you going to expect a transfer in your experience at that time if the socks are dry?
If have dry skin, tissue, those you don't need any wet material. If it's blood stain, sometimes this touch can have a trace transfer. If it's wet, you definitely going to expect transfer.
Is packaging the socks together in the way that I just described going to change the DNA type on the socks that was deposited there?
I cannot say specifically relate to this case, but if a case, for example, a simple example, let's say ABO typing, the victim is type A, the decedent is type B, if have a transfer, our reading going to be type AB, a mixture. What AB means could be a AB type. They are people AB type. There could be a mixture of A and B. In other words, the interpretation gets so complicated now. Sometimes it's possible to resolve. Other times, just impossible. You just call it, could be a mixture.
All right, let me make the hypothetical a little bit more specific then. Let's say that in our hypothetical we have a 15-probe RFLP match on one of the stains on our hypothetical socks that were
Yes.
packaged together at the time they were collected.
Right.
Does packaging at the time that they were collected change the DNA type?
In theory, shouldn't. However, if, let's say, hypothetically, because a lot is impossible, let's say just happen, I have to look at the band that's a homozygote or heterozygote. Let's say all the bands are heterozygote, two bands instead of one. It's a remote, almost remote, but do have a possibility two individual, each one have one band. Mixed together, become two bands.
Okay, now, if we know the contributors to the biological evidence on that sock, and let's say we know there's more than one donor to the blood on the two socks, then we can eliminate some of those mixture problems. Is that correct?
If we have a complete profile, maybe we can be able to do that.
And would you agree that even if the two socks are packaged together, a 15-probe match would be an extremely significant piece of evidence?
If it's genuine, that's an important
Yes.
evidence.
Right. Now, Dr. Lee, just very briefly on the issue of collecting clothes, and then we'll move on to a different topic. Is it your position in training police officers that where clothes are in a pile, for example, a number of different articles of clothes, they should in fact collect the clothes as a group and package them together in the same package? Is that the way that you train them?
Yes.
Okay. So there's not an absolute that you always have to package the clothing separately?
If they're separate, you should package separate. If you have a clothing on top of each other or you mingle together, for example, certain people take off their pants, the underpants come with it all together. You don't have to separate them in a crime scene. You should collect as one group.
And would you agree that with respect to the sock photos that you've seen in this case in your analysis of the socks, we could never exclude the possibility that the socks came into contact with one another prior to being collected anyway?
I only can testify what I see. I saw the picture, there's two socks separate,
Right.
clearly. Before that, I don't know.
Thank you. Now, getting back just to our chart, do you have another chart that you sometimes use in explaining the concept of crime scene investigation called your four-way transfer theory that's contained in the, excuse me, I think it's four-way linkage. I got it wrong.
That's become an international, well-known four-way linkage
Okay.
theory. That's one of my theories. Yes.
Can we mark as people's next in order? It would be 591, Your Honor.
All right, you've given a copy of this item to Mr. Scheck.
I don't know if we gave him a copy or whether we just showed it this morning.
All right,
But it's
Mr.
also... Your Honor, I'm just going to give Mr. Scheck a copy of the... Well, I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to let him
That's-
borrow a page in the book.
All right, proceed. This is a slide you have made up?
Yes. And Dr. Lee, is this exhibit that we've just marked that says Henry Lee's four-way linkage theory A?
I wish only one Henry Lee. There are too many people called Henry Lee. I just found out in L.A. the telephone books a lot of Henry Lee.
Okay. Is this a summary of your concept of a four-way linkage?
Yes, sir.
And is it true that this is the goal of crime scene processing?
Yes.
So if a criminalist goes out to a crime scene, what he's trying to accomplish is the idea of what he or she is trying to accomplish is the idea of four-way linkage.
Yes.
Can you please explain this to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
That's a pointer, Your Honor. Is this a...
I don't know if that's a pointer.
No, we don't have that working right now.
The crime scene...
I think that we can use a telestrator, but maybe the
Yeah, just the
pointer's fine.
pointer is fine.
Okay.
Any investigation involves in four important elements. One is a scene. The crime scene itself has to be intact, preserved. Any time have a crime, have a victim. So victim itself become a crime scene. For example, a hit and run case, a pedestrian got hit. The pedestrian's body become a crime scene. A rape case, same thing. The rape victim become a crime scene. Of course, the suspect, who person or persons commit the crime, become a crime scene itself. And physical evidence, such as guns, shoe print, hair, sometimes earring, can become a piece of physical evidence, tire track. All those four areas, as a good investigator and good criminalist, we have to have a concept of this embedded in our mind. When you walk to the crime scene, you should understand this nature. To link, you need a four-way linkage. You can link the suspect to the scene if you found certain crucial physical evidence. Also, you can link the physical evidence back to the suspect or suspects. Also, you can link the physical evidence to the victim. So this four-way linkage is rather important. By using same analogy to case, let's say a hit and run case. On that street, we have a scene. At the scene, you can find blood. You can find tire track. You can find glass, metal, soil. The victim's body taken to the hospital. On his chest, maybe we find tire track. On his clothing, we may find imprint pattern. Maybe have glass fragment. The vehicle itself become a physical evidence, which, such as a broken lens, lost of course, ideally lost a muffler. We can pick up the muffler and physically fit. You can have a link. And the suspect, of course, if the suspect after hit and run step in the blood, now we have a footprint. We can link the suspect. So this so-called four-way linkage, you have to always consider all the possibilities.
Doctor, can we perhaps use a simpler analogy or fact pattern? Let's say that we have a crime scene.
Yes.
Let's say it's a robbery,
Yes.
just so we're understanding the concept. And there's an article of clothing at the scene that has a hair that is consistent with the suspect that he dropped at the crime scene.
Yes.
It's foundational 352 oral.
And on that same article of clothing, there's also a hair that's consistent with the victim.
Yes.
Can you explain how that would work with your four-way linkage theory?
Let's say a piece of garment, which we do have cases, for example, robbery or burglary, getting too hot, they take off their jacket. Somehow left in a hurry, left in the scene. We found hairs. That hair can link to a victim. That hair also can link to a suspect. This hair also can link to a crime scene.
Okay. And if the suspect and victim hair is found on the same item, it also links the victim to the suspect.
Yes, could be. Link depends on the condition of the hair, depends on whether or not this hair so-called secondary transfer.
And it would also, if the article of clothing is found at the crime scene, link the physical evidence up to the scene.
Yes, sir.
All right. And is it true, Dr. Lee, I think we're finished with that. Is it true, Dr. Lee, that the hallmark of a crime scene identification is whether or not we were successful in establishing four-way linkage?
Yes.
Now, would you agree that it is very often that very experienced, capable criminalists or crime scene technicians or police will go out to a crime scene and very carefully, systematically process the crime scene, but they can't establish four-way linkage?
Yes, do have cases, either failure of recognition or failure of any of those steps. And sometimes maybe just not exist.
And is it also true that sometimes a less careful processing of the crime scene, less capable processing of the crime scene, can nevertheless result in four-way linkage?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's get to the issue, Dr. Lee, of the Bronco that you testified to a little bit in your direct testimony. Now, did you ever physically inspect the Bronco yourself?
No, as I indicate to the jury, I never physically, personally look at the Bronco.
And were you present, did you know that there was a search of the Bronco that was done on August 26th of 1994?
I don't remember a specific date.
Okay, were you generally aware of some research of the Bronco that was done in August of 94, at which some defense people and some
Yes.
prosecution people were present?
Yes.
And did someone disallow you from coming there? Or?
Not exactly the situation disallow me. I only can work on my spare time,
Okay.
on weekends. I cannot come here. I have a official duty. Also, the world cannot stop just because of this case.
Okay. So, with respect to your analysis in this case, is it true that part of the limitation was your own busy schedule?
Yes, because the day I want it, it's not available to me. The day they want it, I cannot come here.
Okay. Now, with respect to the amount of blood that we're going to expect to find in an item such as the Bronco, do you agree with the idea that we can only interpret the blood stains that are physically present, and that no one should speculate as to why a defendant was not blood-stained except in the most unusual cases?
Yes, in general.
Okay. And do you agree, sir, that in the forensic scientific literature, that there is a lot of literature that indicates numerous references state an assailant is not always blood-stained as a result of their active participation in a bloodletting event?
That again, in general, depends on type of crime and what condition of the crime, what type of physical force involved.
Do you also agree that forensic scientists have to interpret what they see as opposed to what they don't see?
I disagree that absence of evidence, not necessarily wasn't there. Absence of evidence maybe wasn't there. Maybe somebody just not experienced enough or incapable or inability to see that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Have you read Mr. McDonald's article on the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence? The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
I'm a Chinese. Take me a while to think about this double talk. Absence.
Let me see if I can get that for you. And I put some lines on my copy. May I approach the witness?
We'll show Mr. Schechter, you have
Yeah,
to.
Lee, why don't you just take a quick look at that and see if that refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you've seen that article.
I read a lot of article. Which paragraph you want me to read?
Well, you don't have to read it. I just want to ask you whether or not, looking at it silently, to
Oh,
see if you recognize.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Dr. Lee, do you recognize the article?
Sort of. I don't remember every line.
I know there's an enormous amount of forensic science literature out there, isn't there?
Yes.
All right. Do you agree generally with the findings of McDonald in this particular?
In general, yes, but the specific example he gave maybe not totally cover the whole situation.
But in general, do you agree with the proposition that we really can't infer that someone did not participate in a crime involving a bloody event simply because they don't have blood on their clothing or on their person?
Again, as I indicated before, depends on situation. One example said beat up the rabbit. Rabbit and human, that's two different things. You beat up a rabbit, did not get blood spatter on your clothing, doesn't prove you beat up a human, did not get the blood on your body. And I guess it depends on situation. If you stand at distance, fire a shot, gunshot, let's say 30 feet away, kill somebody, I don't expect to find blood spatter on somebody's clothing. That's correct. However, if you put the gun next to somebody's head,
Yo, will you relax, sir? What is your problem? I spilled my first cup of coffee. It's out on the porch somewhere. I just spilled a bunch of my third cup of coffee. It's okay, though, because guess what? I'm going to go to work soon. And when I go to work, I make these huge huge things of coffee. I don't know what the word is. The real big ones with the spout at the bottom that holds like 12 pots of coffee. I'm about to make 12 pots of coffee at work, and I can have as much of that as I want. No, it's not butter pecan coffee, but I like coffee, regular coffee. I like just coffee. Starbucks, you know how confused everybody gets when you walk into a Starbucks and just can you just give me a cup of coffee? Well, what do you mean? What do you mean a cup of coffee? I just want a cup of coffee. So, I'll be okay in a couple hours, but I need to stop spilling my coffee today. I don't know what, another decade ago, I would have
fire
definitely
shot.
thought
Nothing, no closing block.
I was pregnant, but that's not a possibility right now. I'm just clumsy.
The back spatter, I expect to find some blood spatter. So it varies. I cannot, in certain sense, he's correct. In other situation, maybe not.
Okay, isn't there a lot of forensic science literature out there that generally
It heats
cautions
up
the
bigger.
forensic scientists who are involved in blood spatter that you can't really say that someone didn't participate in a crime just because they're not covered in blood, even if it's something like a stabbing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your Honor, perhaps I can mark
I
the
haven't.
article
It's
as
Bill
People's
Shirt.
next
I
in order.
love
It's gonna be
it so much.
592.
Kelly,
People's 592.
just tell me you're okay. Please. I spilled the coffee on my... My mouse is doing all kinds of weird things right now.
Sir, do you agree with the concept that we can only interpret the bloodstains that are physically present, and that no one should speculate as to why a defendant was not bloodstained, except in the most unusual cases?
Is he reading from something? I don't know.
These are my notes.
Again, generally, we only can interpret a certain pattern which we can see. If you did not see it, not necessarily wasn't there. You cannot interpret something you did not see. Then you say, not there.
What I want to know, Doctor, though, is do you agree with that particular quote that I just read?
In general.
Okay. Now, have you been involved? Let me ask a couple other questions first. Is it true generally that stabbings, generally speaking, involve less blood than beatings?
No. Stabbing depends where you stab. You can have a lot of blood. Beating depends where you beat. If you beat somebody's real end, when I was young, my mother used to discipline me. I don't see any other blood spatter. So,
Well,
all different.
I'm talking about beating deaths.
Beating death.
Where someone's
Beat the head
beating-
or beat the body, and it's all different.
Okay, let's say that we have a situation where someone's beaten another person to death in the head with a brick.
This is not particularly relevant.
Well,
counsel.
that goes to the Bronco and a number of other items the defense got into.
The cause of death here is clear.
Well, I'm just,
No, let's proceed.
all right. Now, sir, have you had some cases yourself in your own career as a forensic scientist where the crime scene was extremely bloody?
Yes, sir.
Yet the suspect did not have a lot of blood on his clothing?
Off my head, I don't really remember every crime scene I went. In general, more blood, I should expect to find some blood on the suspect. Again, depends on situation. If a shooting at the distance, yes, victim lying there have a lot of blood, but suspect already long gone, you don't expect to find that. Those are correct. If a close combat situation, may be different.
Okay. Now, with respect to the Rockingham location, Dr. Lee, you saw some spots in the foyer, is that correct? Of blood?
Yes.
Okay. And can you determine the difference as a forensic scientist between a 1 centimeter cut and a 2 centimeter cut based upon those 6 spots?
If the cut into a blood vessel, maybe. If not, I cannot tell you.
Okay, so if we're dealing with a cut that did not go into a blood vessel, then we cannot say from the number of dots that you had how big the cut was.
No. Just can say a small cut.
Right. Now, in addition to that, Doctor, when you were at the Rockingham location, did you have occasion to find any item that, in your forensic opinion, was consistent or appeared to be blood in the area of the air conditioning near Cato Kalin's house?
Yes, sir.
And was that something that you believed that you thought appeared to be blood?
I test some doorknobs, some sink traps, and air conditioner.
I'm just asking about the air conditioner.
I
Whether
thought you
you
asked
saw
different
something.
places. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right, Your Honor. I'll move on. I think he's answered the question. Now, sir, with respect to the Bundy crime scene location, I'd like to ask you a little bit about what you did in terms of the reconstruction at that location.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to mark, well, first of all, let me ask you, were your opinions that you offered regarding the Bundy location based upon what you saw in the photographs, or did you also take into consideration the testimony of pathologists in this case?
What my observation regards to imprint is my direct observation on June 25th on the tile. Also look at some physical evidence. Regards to this closing area, basically looking at photograph, the distribution of the pattern, the location of scene. Regards to some other information that did relate to me, some
My
number of
mouse
cut or stab or injury.
Unmuted me. It's
Okay,
freaking
let me just
out.
make sure we're clear.
It's
So is it your
opening,
position
closing
that as a
things.
forensic scientist looking
hope it
at
doesn't shut
the
the
Bundy
screen
location,
down.
you have to set
can't
aside
pause the
what
video.
the pathologists say and just concentrate on what you see?
And the majority part. Of course, I consider the number of injury. That only one thing I look at. I
Okay.
did not look at the stomach content, livability, or post-mortem change.
Okay,
the
so in
rest.
other words, things that you can see yourself in
Right,
pictures.
right.
All right. Now, I'd like to mark as people's next in order an exhibit that's going to be 593, and it's a board of the Bundy location concentrating on what we've referred to in this case as the caged area and some photographs. Your Honor, one of the photographs is perhaps one that should not be suited for display.
All right. Mr. Bancroft acknowledges that. Here.
At this point in time. And another one is a video that was taken on the 17th. And counsel, and actually that one came at this point.
On the witness stand, still undergoing direct examination by Mr. Scheck. And Mr. Scheck, I understand.
Tell you.
Where Mr. Furman surprised you with that language to any... Where Mr. Furman surprised you...
On the witness stand, still undergoing direct examination by Mr.
If one gets close to this photograph, one can detect that this is an evidence card indicating item number 12, and it shows 3 blood.
On the witness stand, still undergoing direct examination by Mr. Scheck. And Mr. Scheck, I understand you have 1 or 2 closing questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Lee, the last answer you just gave this jury with respect to this board is you said something is wrong. Could you please explain what you...
And in fact, did you on at least one occasion tell Officer Furman that the transcripts you were preparing were verbatim transcripts of what he was saying?
Yes.
And in fact, did you on at least one occasion tell
Cannot make a determination. Now you have a effect.
And so in other words, you might get an inconclusive result or no result as a result of degradation.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'd like to show you the exhibit that's been marked as Defense 1362 for identification. If we could put that up. It's the large swatch blow-up.
Hear him to say and what I would say.
So what you put into the transcript were his words.
Yes.
Did you edit his words at all in the process of transcribing the tapes?
No.
And in fact, did you on at least one occasion tell Officer Furman that the transcripts you were preparing were verbatim transcripts of what he was saying?
Yes.
Are doing those things, it's okay.
What is not okay if it is touching an area which is dirty and is not clean prior to being used again.
If they are not aware that they're touching the ground, is it your belief that they are going to be aware if they happen to touch some evidence?
Sustained. Cause of speculation.
Mr. Madison, I want to ask you some questions about the blanket. Do you have that in mind?
Yes.
You believe that it is a proper procedure at a crime scene where you're collecting biological evidence to bring something from outside the crime scene, such as a blanket, and put it on the evidence.
No, I do not.
And the reason that's inappropriate is because you can inject trace evidence that wasn't in the crime scene into the crime scene by doing that, correct?
That's possible, yes.
And a blanket such as a thermal blanket is an excellent collector of trace evidence, is it not?
Improper hypothetical.
Well, we're assuming facts that aren't in evidence.
Would you say a blanket is a good collector of trace evidence?
Vague and calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I would say that, yes, a blanket has a very good chance of picking up trace evidence.
And if a blanket is thrown out over a scene, it has a potential of depositing that trace evidence on the scene, correct?
Improper hypothetical assumes facts that aren't in evidence.
Overruled.
If the blanket is taken and thrown out or shaken out or something like that that would allow what was on it to be spread out throughout the scene, and that was to land on something, you have the possibility of contamination.
How about if it was just put down on something? Trace evidence could come off of it, couldn't it?
If it was carefully laid down, you have the potential of something falling off of it directly under it, yes.
Should your criminalists be alert to foreign things such as a blanket being brought into a crime scene in terms of their processing of that scene?
Argumentative, vague, irrelevant.
I would think that that's something that you should be aware of, that it's occurring.
So that's something they should check on, correct?
But something that is present that you should be aware of, yes.
Do you know whether Dennis Fung ever made any inquiry, or Andrea Mazzola ever made any inquiry as to where that blanket came from?
Argumentative, no personal knowledge.
Sustained. Those people have already testified.
I'm sorry.
Sustained. Let's move on.
Would you expect a competent criminalist to make some kind of inquiry as to where a blanket in the middle of the crime scene came from?
I think that that would be an appropriate question to ask.
Would you expect a capable, competent criminalist seeing a blanket in the middle of a crime scene with blood on it to collect that?
It's an incomplete hypothetical.
Overruled.
I have no
I can
mouse.
speak for myself at this point. If I
My
arrived at a
mouse got
scene
coffee on
where a
it.
blanket was heavily
And I
covered with
cannot,
blood and was advised that that was over
cannot
the
click
victim,
around.
I would
I
not
am
necessarily
trying
collect
very
it.
hard. I think,
To your knowledge, is there any forensic reason or legitimate forensic or investigative reason for putting a blanket on a body at a crime scene?
From a forensic standpoint,
Yes.
there is no reason.
Now, do we have the board 107 on?
Okay. And let's assume that there is a struggle or an attack.
Fine. You,
Ah, oh, I had it. This is approximately where we were. I don't know exactly where we were. But this is where, if I can get us here, this is where we're going to be.
The one.
the B. You're talking A.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Ah, sugar.
We're talking on a lower.
Why?
Pull
Is the speed wrong?
There it is. Maybe with the telestrator, we can just mark that if possible and then print it out with an arrow.
Oh my gosh. For the love of...
Was that just circled in yellow?
Alright, speed
Yes.
is normal. I can't
print
fix
that
that right now. We're just stuck with slow. But it's better than double.
How do you want to mark printout?
The printout would be People's 595, Your Honor.
All right, 595.
This sucks.
Doctor, just for orientation purposes, on the lower right-hand corner of what we're pointing out is what appears to be a stain that seems to have what looks like it was once a bubble in it. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Bubble.
Yes. Maybe that's not the correct, that we're
I
zooming
don't
in on.
think any bubble still on there.
What?
I don't see kind of bubble. Give me which one? Here?
Yes.
That probably some trace material I hear on the envelope. And some, I have to look at the pattern itself.
Okay, now I'd like to show you, so the Greg Matheson stain, as we're looking at this envelope now, is to the left of that major stain.
Yes, sir.
All right, now let's take a look at the exhibit that's previously been marked as People's 54B for identification.
Your Honor, is it possible that the witness can examine this before they put it up on the map?
Not necessarily.
While we're waiting for that to be scanned up onto the screen, oh, here it comes. Well, can that be, oh, that can't be reoriented so that we can put it, yeah, let's just do it up the envelope.
Is that laser disc?
Yes, sir. Now, looking at the same bubble-like stain, stain that may have had some trace material
Yes,
that
sir.
adhered to it on the right-hand side. If we go left of there,
Yes.
there's a series of, yes. Does it appear that the Greg Matheson stain is one of those three constellation of stains?
Judged by the size, it cannot be. This is a reference stamp, still on the envelope. If you look at the previous one, picture, use as a control, that stamp is much smaller than those stamps.
Okay,
And now this stamp is much bigger than that three stamp.
okay. Now, doctor, would you agree that that stain is in the same geographic location as the Greg Matheson stain?
Yes, sir.
Can we circle that one with yellow and print it out? While we're doing that, doctor, is it true that with crime scene photography, sometimes we have artifacts that can appear in the photography that make it look like something is there that wasn't there?
Well, I think that's a crime scene photographer's position job to actually depict the scene, not to say something there, not to be there, or something there, not to be there.
Okay, well, what I'm asking you is this. We've talked about some of the problems with photographs.
Yes.
And there are inherent limitations of photographs. Is that
Right.
true?
That's true.
And some of them have to do with perspective. Is that true?
Right.
And can some of the limitations have to do with glare? Not
I
on this
don't see
photograph,
any.
but just in general.
All right, yes.
right. Now, can those sometimes have a distorting effect in terms of what we're looking at in a photograph?
Sure.
All right. Now, doctor, I'd like you to take a look at the actual photograph and look at the same stain that we've just referred to.
May I look at the envelope again?
Yes.
I should print that.
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to look at that? Did that particular stain wash out of the photographs that you were given that were copies of maybe second or third generation photos?
I doubt it, because the rest of surrounding stamp pretty defined. You can't just selectively say that particular stamp washed out. It may happen, but if I wash out, I should see that general area, everything washed out.
Okay, but it is possible that that may have washed out. Is that true?
It's possible.
And by the time we got a third generation photograph to you, you might not see it at all. Is that true?
With this particular envelope versus this photograph, my opinion would not change. My opinion will not change. I think that stamp wasn't present in, it did not present in that envelope.
All right, thank you. Now, Doctor, just getting back to the socks very briefly, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions that I may have forgotten.
All right,
Yes.
excuse me, Mr. Quigley, are we done with the eyeglass?
Yes.
All right, why don't we have Dr. Lee repackage that then for the record?
Okay, now I'm putting a plastic envelope back to the manila envelope. Close it and reseal it. Put my initial on it.
Thank you. Now, we were talking about how it's not possible to say that the stain 42 stain is necessarily related to the wall 3 stain. Do you recall that discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is it possible, Doctor, in your judgment, that in the process of taking off the socks, if one was cut and they deposited some of their blood on the toe of the sock, and they turned the upper part of the sock inside out, that the toe could come into contact with wall 3, which is now inside out?
Any type of transfer has, in this situation, has to be wet, still in liquid stage. Only have a minute transfer. It's not a large amount of a blood drop on it. It's little tiny beads. So I cannot rule out, say, possibilities.
The scenario that I just gave you.
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that, as in the case of some of the other photographs, the photographs that you saw of the socks at Rockingham were again second or third generation?
Yes, sir. I fixed my mouse. Yes, I did. But guess what? My camera's not working now. I would much rather my camera not be working than my mouse not to work. That sucked. All right, now moving from Top Chat to Maria Chat. Even though I was on Maria Chat, I swear, my mouse just clicked everything. I cannot believe my mouse didn't stop the stream. But you know what my mouse did? I don't know if you guys noticed. So freaking rude. My freaking mouse kept going back to the the Furman tape stream. Oh, I just turned my light off now. That's fine. My camera doesn't work. The Furman tape stream. You know, the unedited Furman tape stream. The one that under no circumstances at all do I want to play during my live stream. Oh man. I was swearing a bit, but it's okay because I was muted. You guys didn't hear me. I really wish I could just get my camera to work now. I'm unplugging it and plugging it back in. But no, I spilled my first cup of coffee on the porch. I spill a second cup of coffee. I don't know why my light just went off when I just unplugged my camera. Because that's not my camera. I'm an idiot. There we go. That's my camera. I'm trying, guys. It's just not going well right now. Unfreaking believable. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Hi, guys. Remember last stream? What was it? 20 minutes ago? Okay, it was an hour and 20 minutes ago. Remember how I was saying, you know, I'm a professional? Amy, I just unplugged my light to fix my camera. That's not smart. I got a lot of frickin' cords though. You don't even know how many cords I have. 3 lights, a camera, mouse, keyboard, stream deck. It's just so many things connected to my stupid computer. But, alright. I don't really know at all if I started it at the same spot, or near the same spot, or before the same spot. But this is where we're going to run. We're just going to run it from here. I remember he had a gun to his head. 6, 7. Yes, that's me, Martha. Professional. Anthony, if you didn't know, if you have a Prime membership, you can subscribe to me on Twitch, and you can watch this without ads. Oh, wait, you don't have ads because Tiffany pays for your YouTube Premium. That's my son, guys. It's weird that he popped in, isn't it? Because we were speaking about him last stream being in chat. Kelly was. And then he pops in this stream. That's just a little too crazy for me. We're going to get back to OJ.
Picture, my testimony is first generation based my own observation, own photograph. The picture provided to me is different picture taken by different peoples.
Though I'm talking about the Rockingham picture.
Rockingham picture is maybe second, maybe third. I don't know how many generation before get to my hand.
All right. I'd like to mark as people's next in order. That would be 595, 6 for identification. What would appear to be a board with socks on it. 3 pictures. I think it has. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to do this. Just a single photograph of the socks that have been introduced in this case.
Mr. Goldberg.
He's not safe.
Now, Doctor, you said that on your photographs, which were either second or third generation, you couldn't see the toes of the socks. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you couldn't tell whether the socks were inside or out.
Correct. I
So-
have a feeling, interpretation, but if I cannot positively see that, I don't want to come here to mislead you.
Okay, and if they were inside out partially, then wall 3 would be exposed to the outside, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'd like to show you what we've just marked as 596. May I put a 596 on the reverse, Your Honor?
You may.
May I just show this to the witness first before I put it on the
You may.
Elmo? Can you just please look at this, just to take a look at that yourself?
Yes.
All right, on the Elmo.
Yes. Oh, this is not very good.
But I can tell you. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions about this while this is up, and then perhaps we can, oh, there, well, it's a little better. Dr. Lee, this is a higher quality photograph than the photograph you were provided, is that
It's
correct?
much better, much better quality. I was not have the privilege to look at this photograph until just a minute.
Okay. And with respect to the toes of the socks, those now can be seen quite clearly, is that correct?
One of the socks, the lower socks is definite, can see that.
And the other one looks like it's pretty clear too, is that
The
correct?
other one looks like a folding in a three-dimension setting.
And is it correct that with respect to both socks are substantially turned inside out?
Yes, sir. Especially the lower one, it's positively inside out. The top one, it's kind of in the borderline, but the bottom one definitely is inside out.
And does it appear that the toe of the top sock is coming into contact with what we've been referring to as wall 3?
Yes, sir. If assume that's inside out.
And it's maybe we can't say this with positively, but does it appear that it's coming into contact with the ankle area of wall 3?
I cannot come here speculate anything. It's in this area.
All right. May I show this to the jurors, Your Honor? Because it is getting a little washed off on the Elmo.
All right. And juror number 1, please.
Don't give it to juror number 7, please. Don't break your habits. Darden is looking over Marsha's shoulder, seeing what she's writing. Now he's copying her.
Mr. Goldberg, without the reporter while we're waiting.
Come on. Judge. Shot, everybody shot. There's a sidebar. Give me a second, I'll fix this up real good. Oh no. That was quick. Did they even do anything? Hey. Yeah, Anthony. Just don't cut yourself again. Where are we? Minute 32.
All right, Mr. Goldberg, would you collect that from Deputy Bashmakian, please? All right, let the record reflect that each of the jurors has had the opportunity to carefully review People's 596, the sock photograph.
Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to move on to another topic, if we may, and that's to ask you a couple clarifying questions about bindle number 47. Now, it is your opinion that there was a wet transfer in that bindle, is that correct?
Yes, that's no doubt in my mind. It's a wet transfer.
All right. Now, sir, when you were doing your examination in this case, did you find, well, let me withdraw that question, Your Honor. I'd like to mark another exhibit as People's next in order, what appears to be a board of 3 photographs showing bindle number 42 in this case.
All right, that'll be People's 597. $165, can you see that? Yes, sir. All right, 1386.
Sir, I'd like to direct your attention to the item that's been
165, I
marked
bet, is
as
juror number
People's
7.
596.
Let's remember that,
excuse me,
165.
97.
597 for identification. Dr. Lee, can you take a look at that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You may.
Yes.
Is this one of the items that you examined?
Yes, sir.
And did this also contain some wet transfers?
In my notes, I did mention this item have wet transfer.
Okay, and, sir, if the testimony in this case is that the swatches here came from a pool of the victim's blood, Nicole Simpson, would you expect that to play any material role in terms of whether or not we would get a wet transfer?
Yes.
In other words, would her blood be different from someone else's blood?
I don't know. I did not group that. I can't really tell you whose blood. The transfer, you might know, refer a bow tie, like a bow tie transfer. I tried to find a piece in here, have a bow tie. Whether or not I can fit this bow tie, wasn't too successful.
And that could be something twisted, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct? What I'm asking you, I guess my question wasn't very clear, is would we expect that perhaps Orenthal Simpson's blood dries at a faster rate or different rate than Nicole Brown's blood?
Sustained.
What?
Sustained.
What would we expect that one person's blood would dry faster or slower than another person's blood?
This more indicates there are other factors, amount of sample, the condition of sample, the drying condition. Here, I don't know how many swatches a whole bundle of it, and only a few small transfer, which indicative there are some wet transfer. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, that's the same as Bindle 47?
47 has few more transfers, and 4 transfers.
So this has a few less transfers, but both
Yes,
of them
sir.
have transfers. Your Honor, I'd like to show the witness very briefly the exhibit that we've marked as the serology results board, Peoples 202, for identification. It's out in the hall, apparently, if we may get it.
Serology results board?
I have an objection to this. This is outside the scope.
Overruled.
I have 1 day off out of the next 9 with some
Practices
doubles.
People's exhibit.
So you guys are going to have to be nice to me. I'm going to do my very best.
Proceed.
I promise.
Mr. Goldberg.
Okay, Doctor, I want you to assume that there's already been testimony to this board and the accuracy of the PGM subtypes, and direct your attention to the PGM subtype column. May I approach your Honor?
Yes.
Showing you item number 42 for identification. It says blood under Nicole Brown, is that correct?
How
The chart says so.
many hours
And
have we
according
looked
to
at
the
this
chart, there is
board
an
in total?
inconclusive result on that.
I think it's
PGM
like
subtype.
1,000.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
I
Now,
have off for
in
8
terms
weeks
of,
after that, Kelly.
Bindle
8 weeks.
42, containing blood under Nicole Brown.
Yes, sir.
I have off for 8 weeks after that.
And Bindle 47.
9 more days of work, hard work.
Do you believe that the
8 weeks
same
off.
process was responsible? I mean, are the types of transfer stains we're seeing in both of those consistent?
Okay, first, we don't have 47 on the board.
Yeah, I'm not asking.
Oh,
you
you're
about
not
blood
asking me
group,
the
just
board?
transfer
Okay,
stains, yes.
all right, sorry. I thought you were asking me about the board.
But the transfer stains are consistent in both cases, is that correct?
They are wet transfer, that aspect, similar. But
right.
the transfer pattern, they're different.
And there were different swatches and different combinations
Yes.
of swatches in them?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now, getting to the shoe prints that we left off with on the Bundy location,
Yes, sir.
on the walkway itself, there was one photograph from June the 13th
Yes.
that you referred to. And was it your conclusion in your testimony that there were some parallel lines that could be seen?
Yes,
in
sir.
that? And was it your conclusion when you testified on Friday that
Absolutely
with regard to
not,
those parallel
Kelly.
lines in that photograph,
No way.
it could be anything?
This
Yes,
is the best part of my
Just
day.
some parallel line. And I cannot say that's a footprint.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark as people's next in order a photograph that is depicting one of the shoe prints. It's P50.
You know how I'd get some rest, Kelly? If my kids would move out. They'd pack their shit and get out.
All right, this will be People's 598. Have you shown that to Mr. Scheck?
This equals 45I.
All right. Withdraw 598.
May I just approach the witness very quickly?
You may.
Sir, I'd like to show you quickly what we've already marked in this case as 45I. Does that appear to be a first-generation photograph of the June 13th photograph that appear to have some parallel lines that could be anything?
Yeah, this is a much better photograph than what I obtained.
Okay. And now that you see that photograph, does it appear that the parallel lines are in fact trowel marks or scratches in the surface of the pavement?
Could be.
Does that appear to be the most
Yes.
reasonable explanation?
Right.
Okay. So that leaves us with the parallel line imprints that you saw on June the 25th that we need
Yes,
to
sir.
discuss. Now, sir, when you took those photographs of parallel line imprints on the Bundy Walk itself,
Yes, sir.
had you seen those prints on the walk at any time prior to June the 25th?
I wasn't there. I definitely did not see anything like this before.
And did you examine the photographs in this case that were provided to you by Mr. Shapiro to determine whether or not you could see those particular parallel line prints in the photos?
Unfortunately, the area I found really don't have a good photograph. Most of the overall view photo is taken at an angle. It's lost the perceptions. Some did some pretty good photograph. Those are selected, just shows those imprint consistent with Bruno Magna.
All right, let's take a look at the Defense Exhibit 1337, which is the footprint board, if we may.
Yes. Bless you.
Now, with respect to the photograph on this exhibit that is at the bottom in the middle that says walkway June the 25th, 1994 on it,
Yes, sir.
can you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury clearly where the parallel line footprint is?
I say imprint evidence. I think I did not say footprint. I don't think I identify this as a footprint. I identify this one as a footprint. I see parallel line imprint here.
Okay, but does this appear to have a round edge that would seem to be consistent with some sort of a manufactured object, like a sole?
Maybe.
And did you say that the characteristics of these two items were the same?
No, this is a parallel line. Here like a Bruno Magna. Here look like a Porsche on top of each other. You are overlapping now, two patterns. That's why I call it imprint evidence. I did not call it footprint. This one is a clear one. You can see from the toe to the heel. That's why I call this one a footprint. It's no doubt in my mind, this made of ice shoes.
And was it your view that both of these imprints, parallel line imprints, were in blood from appearances?
This definitely is. And this I tested also consistently.
And, well, I didn't make a motion to strike the part about testing it because I said appearances.
Appearances, that'll be stricken.
And Dr. Lee, was it your opinion that insofar as you can tell the characteristics, these two are consistent?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, can you tell us from your note, now, this parallel imprint, is it fair to say, sort of transects one of the tiles?
It's a mixture of imprints, debris, overlapping, quite a few stuff in there. Quite a few imprint items all together. This one is clear and defined. That's why I call this as an imprint. I don't refer as a footprint.
But this particular imprint seems to go across where the tiles meet at a junction. Is that correct?
Yes, a portion of this appear to be crossed.
All right. And can you just double check your notes, Doctor, to see whether you accurately stated what tile you believe the cross footprint to be on?
Actually, this one is tile 10. I have no doubt of this. This, I did not bring my note with me. You get the copy. I think it's between tile 5, 6, or 7, 6, something in that neighborhood.
Okay, so when you said this, you're talking about the imprint evidence that's on the bottom in the middle. We don't know what tile it is on for sure.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us what tile it was on for sure by looking at your notes?
No.
All right, but the one in the lower of the part of the diagram on the right, you say is on tile number?
10.
Okay.
Yes.
At this time, yeah, well, is it conceivable, I don't want to have the courtroom flooded with boards, but is there a way that we can have 3 boards at one time, or is that just an impossibility? All right, let's take this one down. Your Honor, I'd like to next mark a blank magnetic board as People's 5.
98.
I thought we had a 9. We don't have a 98?
98.
5, 9. Okay. Can we put the easel in the middle, Your Honor? Your Honor, I'd like to mark as People's next in order. It will be, can I mark it as part of this? Well, I'll do it as 599A, B, and C, a series of magnetized photographs of the Bundy Walk. A appears to be the furthest up the walk. B is the middle photograph in terms of where it's positioned on the walk.
All right, do we have any remains on this?
No, Your Honor.
All right, may I see it, Mr. Bancroft?
And C is going to be the furthest east. That would be towards where Nicole's body was.
All right, noted.
And, Your Honor, with the court's permission, can I put A, B, and C tags on that just so that we can make the testimony a little
Yes,
easier
please.
to follow? Perhaps you could step down for a moment.
And Mr. Goldberg,
Yeah, no, we'll put it where it's not covering any of the tiles, like on the spout.
245. 245.
245? Okay. Your Honor, while Dr. Lee's examining that photograph, I'd like to put photograph 45, People's 45D on the Elmo, which is P46. Or on laser, either way we can do it. We're going to put it on Elmo instead, Your Honor.
All right.
it has to be arranged the other way so that we can see the whole photo. Okay, Dr. Lee, I want you to look carefully at this, and I'll show you the actual photo off the yellow if you need to see it. But I'd like to direct your attention to what would appear to be a detective's left foot
Which
in the
detective?
third tile.
You have two
Black
Two
shoes.
set of shoes.
Black shoes.
black shoes,
Okay, that in the third tile.
1, 2, 3, third column.
All right. I'd like you to look carefully at the shoe print that is to the right of the third tile.
To the right. Here, you mean this
Well,
one?
yeah, to the right of the tile in the third row.
Third row. From left or right?
No, third row back towards what would be the alley.
That's 1, that's 2, that's 3,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Let's-
third row.
Okay, all right.
Good.
Now, Dr. Lee, taking a look back at. You wanna look at-
Yes. I can see this one.
Okay, so the one that we're referring to, that we've just been referring to, is the same as on photograph C on our Bundy exhibit, is that correct?
That's correct.
So that would be the third row. Sir, is the arrow in the right place on the telestrator?
You mean the shoe print you want to show me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we print that and mark that? Okay, Dr. Lee, I'm going to put a little 3 in an area of the tile that appears to contain no shoe print evidence. Is this okay?
Sure.
So that would be the third row. I'm not going to mark all of these because otherwise it would take too long. But if this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I want you to test whether I'm putting number 7 in the right place.
Yes.
Now let's use the bigger photo for 10. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. And the parallel line shoe print is supposed to be where?
Yeah.
And do you see anything that there's,
I see something on the tile.
you see something on that tile?
Yeah, where? Appear to be a pattern on this tile.
You're saying you can see a pattern on that tile?
Some kind of pattern. I cannot describe this pattern because it's picture taken. Again, it's not a one-to-one direct on. The photographer take a picture in my position, so everything lost perspective. You do see something here. Whether or not those are, you can see quite a few stuff here. This is a set of footprint. But here, you can see they are transfer imprint, but I cannot tell you what kind of a pattern.
Can you
All right,
tell,
could the record reflect here that Dr. Lee has indicated first reddish, the darker red ones that have previously been referred to as phenomatically, and I think it goes from the set of tiles, which are the,
Number 7.
well, there's, I think if you start from the
Number 7.
number
Number
7,
seven.
but they go straight back, and then he indicated another set,
Column.
another column of imprints.
Third
and-
tile over from the left.
one tile over from the left, and in particular, the discussion started with an examination of where Mr. Goldberg had placed the 10. If we go 3 tiles over to the right, he indicates seeing an imprint there.
so,
thank you.
Dr. Lee, you're saying that the imprint is 10 down the tile,
You can
No,
actually
let's not
start
say
from
10.
here.
but the possible, whatever it is 10 down and 3 over. Is that what
Right,
you're
right,
saying?
right. But here, again, 10, 9, 8. 7 and 8, this area something.
Now, in your notes, did you document any imprint that's being
don't-
10 down and 3 over?
I don't have this photograph. That's the first day I see this photograph.
Well, Dr. Lee, with respect to the parallel line imprint, did you say it was 10 down and 1 over? Is that correct?
But still, 1 over. From this side, 1 over. That's not right.
No.
That's the planter.
Well, here, let's compare. Can you help me with this, Jack?
I think we should put this up to...
No, you're right. That's the other way around.
Okay, and so according to your notes, the print that we're looking for should be 10 down and 2 over.
No, my note says 10th tile. I did not make this board.
So you're saying,
Somebody made this board.
so you're saying this board is wrong?
I think if I look at this picture today, this probably one next in this location. I did not make this board.
We have that reflected on our board.
Mr. Goldberg?
Put that up so that we can make a change.
Well, we'll have to do that on redirect, I suppose.
Do you want to at least, wait. Mr. Goldberg, while you're conducting your examination, would you at least describe for the record what the witness is referring to?
Okay, he was referring to the Bundy imprint board. He's saying, I did not make this board.
Which is defense exhibit what?
I think it's 1337.
All right, thank you.
Sir, did you say that you were not given photos from June the 13th of this walkway?
I don't have a picture as clear as this. I have some picture, barely see. The image is not too good.
All right, counsel, we got a logistical problem here because we've got 4 or 5 jurors who can't see the witness now, so...
Dr. Lee, did you
Hold on,
ask?
hold
I
on,
will move.
hold on. All right, we're going to have to move some of these items. Do you need 1337 up at this point?
1337? I don't necessarily need that, as long as he's pinned down, well, I think he's already testified where that's incorrect, so I don't...
May I request, Your Honor, that marking be made on the board?
No, you can do that on your part of the redirect, counsel.
Doctor, did you ever ask the defense to provide you with higher quality pictures?
I get the information, that's all the picture we get. It's totally out of sequence, mixed up like a deck of cards. I spent a lot of time trying to make some sense out.
Okay, but when you got it from Mr. Shapiro, did you say, please send me some examination quality photos?
I did ask he said that's all he got. He took it back. By the way, I don't have the photograph.
So you don't have them now?
I don't have it now.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention to your notes from 625. What does that say in terms of where the 10th tile footprint is?
By the way, that's Dr. Wolf, Barbara Wolf's note. But the 10th tile, here, first line, parallel, you see this line, parallel line footprint.
So it's on 10, but do we know how many over it is from the notes?
Based on her notes, I don't know.
Well, do you have notes that show how far?
I was so busy taking picture, I only have 20 minutes to work. I only can do one thing at a time.
Okay,
I dictate to her, whether or not she put it down, I don't know.
all right, so at this point, we have no record as to where that is.
Judged by your photograph, I think it's the second row. Front of the house, that's the third row. It's front of the planter, that's the second row.
You have no independent recollection?
No.
And you have no independent recollection of where the other one is that correct?
I only have one shot, very short time. I photographed, documented.
Okay, let's, are we going to take a recess at 2:45, Your Honor? Because I wanted to switch to the other print, and maybe we can take a recess now.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our mid-afternoon 15-minute recess at this point. Remember all my admonitions to you. Dr. Lee, you can step down. We'll be in recess for 15.
All right, guys, we're going to take our recess now, too. Please do not discuss the case with anyone until tomorrow when we're all together. Don't even talk about it. Fight Club rules. No OJ speaking. People think you're weird, actually, if you start to talk about socks being inside out and swabs being wet or moist and wet transfer onto bindles. People will think you're weird. You are weird. Don't talk about it. That's our little secret. This is how bad things happen when we start keeping secrets from friends and family. We're going to keep these secrets from friends and family. They won't understand. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you, Josh. I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.